Postverzoon. She's around, she's a firm, she's a fully packed. She's around like my head. She's flat like your head.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
What responsibility do you think members of the media have to portray science correctly?
Yeah, I think the media has to sort of come out of this ethos that I think was in principle a good one, but it doesn't really apply in science. The ethos was whatever story you give, you have to give the opposing view, and then you could be viewed as balanced. In the clip that you showed of the president, you don't talk about the spherical Earth with NASA in it and then say, oh, now let's give equal time to the flat earthers. Plus, science is not there for you to cherry pick. You know, I said this once, and it's gotten a lot of internet play. I said the good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it. All right? I guess you can decide whether to not believe in it, but that doesn't change the reality of an emergent scientific truth.
I mean, do we have too many scientific deniers in our country, or do we give too much prominence to those who want to look the other way at science?
There's some of those, and dare I implicate some elements of journalism in this, because there's your journalistic ethos, not to tell you what your ethos is, but as I understand it, and it's been told to me, the journalist obligation when writing a story is to give equal column space to all sides, or half to one of each side. And if someone says the Earth is round and someone says the Earth is flat, at some point you're going to make a judgment. The Earth is flat people is just flat out wrong. Right. I will not be giving them the attention. We're wasting time, and I'm not doing a service to in my role of informing the public. And so I think journalists are really smart people, and they're highly educated, and they're curious. They have the curiosity that kids have that they still have as adults. That's the other kind of branch of curiosity manifested in society, scientists and journalists. And that's a great thing to have. But at some point, invest your brain energy to recognize when something is fringe.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you are a journalist. You are a journalist.
No, you don't have to apologize.
No, I'm not apologizing.
I host a talk show, so I can't say I'm not a journalist.
Well, not only that, you're in pursuit of questions.
Yes. I agree that I'm a journalist, as are scientists who ask questions. The only part of the question we don't ask is the who.
Okay, I'm a little older than you, but when I was growing up, people were awed by the fact that we walked on the moon.
Yeah, no, that's so
I heard that
spectacular,
happened.
But I mean...
But, no, there's no but in that sentence.
Back on the ground.
No.
Back in the ground, you're
but
hungry.
It's not a vending machine.
We need to do it again. That's the thing, is that we didn't live through this.
Are you post-Apollo, pre-Apollo?
Post-Apollo.
Post-Apollo birth.
Post-Apollo.
Okay.
That's a thing. Like, we have... Why should we believe it? Frankly, do it again. That's what I want to do it again. I want to look at the moon while people are walking on the moon. People, not just white dudes, but people. Send them up there.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship, currently terrorizing radio show hosts in Nevada, USA. Set phasers to quit. Hey, got one. Oh, that was easy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, you're probably using an old copy of America Online. My good friend and personal wingman for the show, once again, Jonathan from Jersey. How's it going, Jonathan?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back. Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Running out of shows for this year.
3 more.
I know, right?
Right. Yeah, 3 more.
What will happen?
I'll be done with the Flat Earth for 2015. See ya.
Nice. We got a whole bunch of stuff to go through tonight. A quick shout out though to I didn't get cookies this week, but I did finally get the Flat Earth clock from David Weiss. Really great Flat Earth clock, just in time for Christmas. In fact, anyone out there looking for a perfect Christmas gift, give them a Flat Earth clock or a Flat Earth keychain. In fact, there's Flat Earth products, Flat Earth Frisbee. It's who would have thought that we're actually pitching this stuff, and I'm not making a dime off of it. So,
did you take a picture of the clock? I'd love to see it.
I did take a picture, and it's actually going to be in the slideshow. But I will throw it at you real soon.
Okie doke.
But it's cool. It's cool, and David Weiss is selling them on eBay, and if people want to contact him, it's Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, otherwise known as DITRH. That's his YouTube channel. For those of you watching the YouTube version of this, you probably caught some Neil deGrasse Tyson clips. I put 3 of them in the beginning. One of them was from CNN. One of them was from National Geographic, and I mirrored it so I didn't get any copyright strikes because those guys are buggers about copyright. And the third one was from, what'd you call that show? Charlie Rose?
Yeah, Bloomberg, Charlie Rose on PBS, typically.
Yeah, and that one was September. And it was almost the identical message of the one that just came out on CNN, where he's basically saying that science shouldn't be challenged, especially by flat earthers, especially in the media. He says basically that if I'm pitching round Earth, if he is pitching round Earth, equal time should not be given to the flat earthers.
Yeah, he says it straight out. He goes, "I'm not going to entertain it. I'm not going to pay it any whatever." And it's like, wait a minute, you of all people, you could shut this thing down 1, 2, 3 if you could, Neil. And I know you're listening. It's obviously bugging your butt that we've mentioned you a million times that Mark's spanking you all over the place. So all you have to do is come out and put it to rest. It would take you all but 5 minutes. He says he doesn't want to invest time or anything or energy into it. What would it take if you're an astrophysicist that has the backing of NASA?
Exactly. Yeah, who's been to the White House many times.
Yeah.
Who is the chief advisor for NASA. He's basically the front man for science.
The mouthpiece?
Yeah, he is. Not just NASA, not just even astrophysics. I mean, when people want to talk science, he's the guy to roll out in front of them and roll out in front of an audience. And I'm not going to knock the fact he's got a ton of charisma, a ton of on-camera presence. And he's got his own talk show on National Geographic Channel. But he's in trouble, and unfortunately, he is going to be the first sacrifice if this thing keeps
Unfortunately, going. he's digging his own, but he's doing that to himself.
Yeah, he is, and he's got a few more chances to get out in front of this thing and turn it around if he wants to, but he's got to do it soon because it's the way this thing's spreading. People are just going to be looking more and more at him. You cannot dodge this thing forever. You can't.
Right,
it's too big.
I was thinking about this, and I don't know if this is too edgy to say or not.
Go ahead.
Should I just say it? Okay.
Sure.
All right. I hate to say it this way, but it is what it is, right? He's a black astrophysicist.
And so he hits some demographics.
Sure. Right. He hits an unusual demographic in that I was watching other clips of his, and he's even said, like, here I am, I'm successful in my own right, I'm this and that. And he was talking about an incident that happened in a store where a guy had shoplifted, intentionally running out at the same time that he was running out the door, knowing that the security would stop him just based on looks alone. Because you don't wear a sign above your head all the time saying what you are.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a judge, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's still those biases in society.
Absolutely.
Where I'm going with this is he can either be a sellout to NASA if he knows the truth. Now, I'm making the presumption that we're correct about the flat Earth here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he comes forward and he preempts everybody from the sense of like the black community, he'll be like Morgan Freeman was to Batman, as far as the top scientist. What I'm saying is, when you think Operation Paperclip, all the Germans, and you think of the technology of and all the Asians and doing their here's the first black guy steps up, astrophysicist, and he blows the lid off the flat Earth. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I would love for him to do it because no white guy is going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like what I'm saying is it's kind of a clique, and he can blow apart every demographic in one instant if he steps up and just blows it apart.
Oh yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said he could be the most famous man in all of history if he wanted to. If it is true, and I believe it is true, he could step forward and get in front of it and turn it into something else. Confess, and say, we were wrong. Here's why. And everyone would be looking to him for the answers because he would be the one that revealed it.
Yeah, but now think about this, because now, and this is an important point. You're seeing black superheroes now in comics. Yeah. You're seeing black actors now in the lead in Star Wars.
Yeah,
I mean, think of what this would do for the space program going forward, whatever that iteration may be. It's not going to be that dominated Neil Armstrong, John Wayne kind of persona. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be our hero invariably for this.
He could. He absolutely could.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know. But you know as well as I do that he's not going to do it because out of fear, probably.
Well, no. I'll give him this. Like I said, he's paid his dues. He's played the games. He's embedded into that industry. His mentor. All the people he's connected with. Yeah. So at the same time, he does have a certain, not obligation, but out of respect. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He's playing the game, and he earns a good paycheck and all that. Why jeopardize that? I mean. Yeah. They can shut down anybody if they really want to do a smear campaign.
Yeah, the status quo, would even make it to the podium. It'd have to be like a last-minute deal where he went on some sort of live thing and got it out. Well, or just put it on the internet. No different than the Stanley Kubrick thing, which we should mention real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's segue into that. Where, if Neil wanted to, he could do an internet confession and get it on the internet faster and it could be shut down. I guarantee it. Although they probably are watching him.
And like you said, I find him very charismatic as well. You can listen to him forever. I mean, he's an excellent, everything. He makes science fun. But like I said, this one sticking point, it just bothers me because, dude, you're the man. Like you're the guy who's telling everybody the story, and so many people would just be cheering if you said, "All right, screw this. Agreed. Here's what it is."
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Let's do the Kubrick thing real quick, just to mention it, and that is the confession that didn't go so well was the fake Stanley Kubrick Moon Apollo hoax confession that came out. It was earlier this week, and for people that missed it, someone had basically taken an actor who looked kind of like a cross between Stanton Friedman and the ghost of Jerry Garcia, and it was some bad lighting and some bad editing. And a pretty good script, I will give him that. Pretty good script, pretty good storyline. Had this guy come out and confess that he said, "Oh yeah, I'm Stanley Kubrick, and I did this video." He did the video in 1999, and it was kept in the can for 15 years, disclosure agreement, and that he was coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I was the one that faked the moon landings for NASA and the entire Apollo program, basically." And people bought it. In fact, I bought it for the first couple hours. I was like, wow, because I wanted it to be true. And I said that in my description when I did the retraction. I absolutely wanted it to be true. And there was quite a few people that bid on it. The Daily Star out of the UK, Yahoo News, they bid on it. And I found a copy of the outtake reel where you could actually hear the director calling him out by his name. His real name was actually Tom, and saying that, "Oh yeah, I mean, you heard it," where he was giving him stage direction basically, and yelling at him. The director was just a jackass. Oh, he was awful. I mean, he was really, really horrible. It was a micromanager nightmare. And so I took down the original video and I put up the outtakes and I said, "Look, beware of the Stanley Kubrick moon confession hoax." And it got a lot of hits, and I really wanted to take the high road with this because it would have made Flat Earth look bad if we were to run with it any longer.
And I wanted to commend you on that because I thought you did the right thing by doing that and giving that analysis, because some people just they don't want to admit to anything and they walk away from it. And
yeah,
you did the right thing by that.
Oh, thank you.
As apparent by your hits, by the way, a lot of views, or people were looking for the truth on that, and you covered it well.
Well, thanks. I just, the thing was, I felt a little taken by it, but at the same time, it's still going to muddy the water a little bit. Because now, like you were saying, you and I were talking about earlier, people are going to look at this and say, whenever the Stanley Kubrick thing comes up, people say, wait, wasn't that a hoax? No. The hoax, the actor that came out, that was the hoax. The actor that came out in 2015 that pretended to be Kubrick, that was the hoax. The real Kubrick actually faked the Apollo program. But now it's going to get a little confusing.
Right.
And it's like maybe that was deliberate. Maybe that was the plan the entire time, that the hoax was going to get found, and therefore, because it was so obvious. It was going, it was too easy. Again, I use the Dune reference where the head of military intelligence at Dune, when they went down the planet, he goes, we're finding these booby traps far too easy, because he knew there was something bigger behind it. And
I kept saying it was a double fake, right? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
I forgot what I said now. I'll have to think about that.
No worries. Anyway, the other thing, topic I probably should have brought this up first, but better late than never. And that is the debate. The debate I was supposed to have with Art Bell on Art Bell's show with Stanton Friedman, December 30th of this year on the Art Bell Network. And I'm going to give you props, because when we booked this thing back in November, you said to me off air, you said, yeah, this thing's never going to happen. You're never going to get that debate. They're never going to let it happen. And I joked with you. I was going, what are they going to do? Kill the show?
Yeah, you did say that.
It's like because I was joking. I was like, no, what are they going to do, right? And then all of a sudden, a couple days ago, Art Bell quits. He quits his show, Midnight in the Desert, just drops it. I mean, and not just subtly. He posts a thing that says somebody was terrorized. He actually used the word terrorism,
right?
And then when the police, he basically called in a terrorism threat. Someone was coming after him. The police show up at the house, make a whole bunch of racket. His daughter got terrified, terrorism terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's, I don't want to do that to her ever again. I'm quitting the show. And so the first article on his website was, show's being canceled. The second article is, here's how to get your money back. And then like 4 out of the next 7 articles were pro NASA stories.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And a friend of mine mentioned, it's like, if you're quitting the show because of terrorism, you're going to back down. That's what you're going to do. This type of guy is you didn't move. People know where you live. But yeah, it was ridiculous. So
can I make another prediction?
As out of morbid curiosity, yes, you can.
I think you will still get the debate with Stanton Friedman. I don't know how or where, and it will be before the year's end.
That's funny you'd mention that.
Why?
Because, and you didn't know, because I was talking to Chris and Cherie Geo, the producers of this station we're on right now, Truth Frequency Radio, and they had told me that they had contacted Stanton, and there is a tentative deal to do the debate by week's end.
And I'll tell you why.
Great.
No, look at it. He's 81, right?
Yes, he is 81.
He's going out. He's always maintained the same position throughout whatever I think he was a debunker, right, for UFOs and such.
Well, he was, but then he became,
at first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm thinking is he sees the writing on the wall. He's not a mouthpiece like Neil deGrasse Tyson is. So it would behoove him, it would benefit him to do this, to go on to this debate and to intellectually analyze it and maybe even walk away kind of like what a stalemate, anything's possible.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It would look better for him.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. I hope he does. I really hope that he does the homework on this and that he doesn't try to phone it in or sleepwalk. I mean, I know he's going to phone it in literally, but I hope he doesn't sleepwalk through it because
I think he'll bring it. I think he'll bring a lively debate.
Hopefully. Hopefully, because I had all my questions ready for Art, and now I've got to retool them a little bit for this network because I would imagine that both Chris and Cherie are going to be the ones that are moderating it if it happens.
I'll be listening. I can't wait.
I hope you are. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and again, it's tentative. If this changes, we'll let you know by next week. Although If it happens this week, then we won't even, we won't let you know until how it went until next Tuesday. But so I don't even have a schedule. I mean, it might be check this station on a regular basis. And you know what? If I find out, I'll post something real quick and I'll let everybody know I can on YouTube and it'll be on the station. So check Truth Frequency Radio this week and maybe we'll have something on there.
That would be on their program?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll do like a special edition of their program.
So that's what, Saturday Night Live typically?
Yes, it would be. Yeah, it would be Saturday night.
Okay.
But it would be at a different time because I think he is up on not East Coast, but he's like, what's the one I think he's on Atlantic time zone, which is, as you know, 1 hour ahead of East Coast. Mm. There's hardly anybody in that. He's up in, I think, north of Maine.
Okay.
So anyway, so there you have it. I wanted to read something real quick. We got time. And that was because this is what the show is titled. And that was, as you know, we get people that write in and say, look, I'm an authority on this and that. And we have a corporate travel agent that didn't want to go on air, wanted to be not necessarily anonymous. We're not going to give out her last name, but she's got a statement about flight routes. So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. It's from corporate travel agents. Hello, Mark. About a month ago, my father had brought up to me some flat earth evidence. Of course, the first thing I did was laugh, but I only laughed once as I began to listen to some evidence and it all clicked in for me. As a corporate travel agent for over 20 years, I started to remember all the times that clients inquired about the length of their flight times. There were so many cases that it did not seem to make sense, and they were looking to me for a reasonable explanation. Normally, I would agree with them that the flight time seemed longer than it should be. But then the person would automatically brush it off and put it out of their mind. So next, I immediately went to my airline system to look up flight times. I specifically looked at nonstop flights as they are easier to compare long-haul flights against each other. When I closely compared flights, my heart sank as I realized it was true. There is no reasonable explanation for all the inconsistencies. I wanted to give you a good example, but something surprising happened. I had previously checked certain city pairs, such as Sydney, Australia to Johannesburg, South Africa, versus Tokyo, Japan to Istanbul, Turkey. These cities should be similar distances apart according to the globe map model. The flight time from Australia to Africa was more than 4 hours more than the flight in the Northern Hemisphere. This supports the flat Earth model. A month ago, I checked many city pairs, and every time it was obvious that there was a huge discrepancy. The problem is that I checked again today so that I could give you some specific examples, and suddenly the flight times have changed to look more as they should on a globe Earth. They may be now using aircraft that flies faster, doubt it, for the longer hauls, and the truth is that the flights often come in now much earlier or later than their planned schedule predicts. So the interesting part is that it appears they have taken the time to adjust all the flight times since they are now under the radar of the flat Earth movement. This is really interesting because it shows that they are running scared of getting caught in this big lie. Another interesting tidbit is that my ex-husband is an aerospace engineer working on NASA contracts. I have long been skeptical of the moon landing and have asked him many questions to see if he could verify anything to be true, as they say. He had no idea on this subject. His company had him working only on small parts of each project and contract at any given time, and he was not informed about the whole picture. He only concentrated on his part of the project. So it is definitely very compartmentalized there at, and I'm not supposed to mention the aerospace subcontractor, but you guys can probably take a guess. And he, of course, got angry with me for questioning any of it. Ha ha. So this information may not be concrete enough to change anyone's mind, but I thought you might find it interesting. I want to thank you for your contribution to society and not letting deniers bring you down with their nasty attitudes. Flat Earth is very interesting, and there are many things that are different when you realize that the Earth is a plane. It really makes more sense, as I have never understood things like the lunar eclipse before looking at it with this new model. I like your take on things, and this gives us plenty to reconsider about our reality. Thank you, Denise. There you go.
Right on.
Yeah. So another one to add to the list, corporate travel agents.
Oh, by the way, do you know what I saw today?
No. What?
Somebody pointed out if you take the ISS flight pattern, have you seen this? The flight plan?
Oh yeah, and you put it on a flat map.
Yeah,
they turn into big circles.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how the frick did I miss that? And I'm like, yeah, no, because you think about it, we talked about this. How does a satellite turn, like with thrusters, like in James Bond or Enemy of the State? They could just turn it on a dime, right?
Uh-huh.
You fire those thrusters. But now I'm looking at the Earth, and I'm thinking the ISS, you're saying it goes like a wiggly line every time it hits the 60th parallel or wherever it is. It kicks in those thrusters and then goes back the other way, like up and down, right?
Yeah.
But if you flatten out the map or use a flat Earth map, it's a perfect circle.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss this?
It's excellent. Yeah.
People have to see that.
Yeah. And a globe, of course, it still comes in as sort of an orbit, but it should it work exactly should it be a perfect circle on a flat map? I don't think so.
Could you possibly put a side by side, at this point of the interview, and so people know what I'm referencing?
I will see what I can do.
Awesome.
I can see what we can do. It's out there though, just for anyone that wants to look. There are some videos on this, and cool little graphics. It's been out there for a while. It's kind of neat. So
cool.
So there you go. Anyway, let's get off the phone number real quick because we don't have anybody calling in right now, right?
I will take a look if they know it by heart.
If they might.
No, they don't.
Oh, good. Okay, we'll take calls after this first break. But the toll-free number to call is 866-37-TRUTH or 866-378-7884. That's Truth Frequency Radio. Real people, real radio, and more real people like Jonathan and I. We're real, aren't we? Oh yeah, one more thing I want to mention before we go, because we were talking about this before the break, and that is, I caught the first installment of the Arthur C. Clarke 1953 book that they did on Sci-Fi Channel, Childhood's End. Wow,
it's gonna creep people out.
Wow, I mean, you want a show that's a 3-part series. You want a show that's going to tie into what we're talking about, the whole flat Earth. What might happen if the creators come back, if the builders come back. There it is.
I honestly think after that comes out and people start seeing it, people are going to lose their SHIT. I mean, they're going to lose.
They will. It's a creepy. it's a fascinating concept, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. If you get a chance, download, rip it, do whatever you can. Watch the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yep.
The first, because the second and third one aren't out yet, but the first one's excellent. And it gives you a lot to think about. But if you want to know, people say, "Well, what would it matter if the creators show this?"
Don't give anything away.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, it opens. It's kind of like what Independence Day always should have been. Really.
I mean, this makes To Serve Man even worse. Like this is over the top.
It's and again, it presents an interesting dilemma, which I won't get into. But it makes you think about what we are and what our purpose is. So.
Well, I said something similar about the creatures from Alien.
Yeah,
I mean those are kind of vicious creatures anyway, but same premise. What if they were friendly and the most benevolent in the whole universe?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Let me read one because we get letters. We get 1 minute. Let me see if I can do a quick one. Aaron writes, I cannot remember who I got this from, but you may be aware of this, but if not, take a look at this. And he sent me a patent link to the global positioning system satellite signal simulator.
What?
US patent 509-3800A. And, you can look this up. It's a patent. Abstract. A test transmitter apparatus has been designed for testing global positioning system GPS receivers. This test transmitter apparatus has the ability to generate a radio frequency output which simulates GPS satellite signals. Generally, the RF test signal is generated as follows. A digital test signal is produced by a signal generator which is driven by specific programs run on a suitably adapted computer. The digital signal is then converted to an RF signal by a numerical control oscillator and an analog converter. Aaron. Thank you, Aaron.
Wow.
What? I know, because you'd think, of course, you need this to test things. And so, but the question is, if you have a device that can simulate a GPS signal, then how would anyone know the difference between the simulated signal and the real one? And the answer is they don't. They don't have it. So Anyway, when we come back for the break, we got more letters. We're going to take some calls. And
you got 3 calls now.
Really? Already?
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, I know. I'm never going to get through these letters.
That's all right. Letters are...
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll be back in just a few. So stay tuned. Okay, everybody?
Awesome.
Hello, Colby. This is the White House. Ronald Reagan speaking.
Hello, my old friend. How are you today?
Finally, it's time for a daily jazz match. Are you ready?
Yes. My last move yesterday was a tree from
The Rundown live with Mike and Kristen, Monday through Thursday on Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World. I'm Mark. Jonathan is with me yet again, but for how long, we don't know.
We got to get on these phones.
Yeah, we do have to get on the phones. All right, we got 3 callers. They're waiting. Line them up. Let's knock them down.
We got 4 now. Here we go. First one in California. Jonathan.
California, are you there?
Yes. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
Hey, so Mark, to let you know who I am, this is Phil. We emailed back in the spring about the movie World on a Wire and Flat Club.
Oh, right on. World on a Wire, outstanding German film. The movie that was eventually remade into the 13th Floor. Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm calling in, guys, because I did a sneaky thing to try to get FE and NASA skepticism out into the public eye.
Okay.
I produced a mainstream parody music video about Uber, and I wore Matt Powerland's photo or painting T-shirt while I was performing in the video. So hopefully this thing could go viral. It's called "Lovin' an Uber Driver," using Aerosmith as a parody. And it's a fully produced, professional video, and it's my attempt to get FE out there.
Right on. Now, have you made this put it up on YouTube yet?
Yes, it's on YouTube. Lovin' an Uber Driver will bring it up. The project is called Covers That Uncover, and you could also find it at that.com, coversthatuncover.com.
Right on.
Oh, that's
right.
cool.
Yeah.
Outstanding. That's great, man. Hey, wait. It's flat. I'm sorry. Is Flat Earth in the title anywhere?
Not in the title of the video, because I'm sure this is a mainstream parody video.
Oh, I got you. You're sneaking it in. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought you guys could your listeners could hear it, because we guys got that hive mind going, get some links spread around. Next thing you know, Uber parody turns into photo or painting. What?
Yeah, excellent. One thing you might want to do, and this is just a suggestion, is put it in the keywords somewhere.
I might have done that, actually. I'll
good.
Check that.
Because I don't want to miss it. I will make sure that when I play this thing back that I look it up exactly as you said it. But yeah, I can't wait for it. Yeah, I'll add it to the Flat Earth music list that I'm compiling.
Great. Thanks so much for the show, guys. And I got to say, your recent guests have been fantastic, as well as the callers from all over the country. So keep doing what you do.
Thanks, man. All right. Have a good one. Stay flat.
Take care, guys.
All right. Can I say something?
Sure.
I think it's so awesome when, like himself, right? This guy who just called in. Yeah. He's like Don Rickles from Kelly's Heroes. Remember that movie?
Why do you throw these references at me? Why?
You know the movie, right?
Yes, I do.
Because not everybody can be what's his name? Dirty Harry. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Right? But he's important to the whole mission. If he didn't get them the supplies, they couldn't complete the mission.
Yep.
And so people are doing their part out there. So yeah.
Like Radar and MASH.
Very important.
See? There you go.
Right on.
Or Klinger in later episodes.
Okay.
And Klinger in Drag. Remember him?
I liked when he had the salami all the time.
Always wanted the Section 8, could never get it. Or actually, I think he did at the very end. Anyway,
let's get this next one.
Who's the next one?
Twin Cities, Minnesota. This is showing how I don't know my state abbreviations. Go ahead.
You are on.
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This is crazy. I think I've listened to everything that you guys have produced. Awesome job, Jonathan and Mark. Keep going.
Thank you.
My name's Jason. I'm in your chat room, so you feel free to check my Facebook page out. I am a Christian evangelist, but I'm not going to get on here and be crazy with you guys. But I do go out in the streets and the malls and all different places. I do Bible instruction at a local college and at my church, and I might talk to 1,000 people a day.
Wow.
So needless to say, I'm pretty used to dealing with people on the streets and throwing stuff at them they might not necessarily be comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And I just want to give you guys a couple testimonies about telling people about flat Earth and what that looked like and how it unfolded with people with different ways we approached it. If that's cool.
Sure, hit me.
Does it, wait. Does it look anything like Jehovah's Witnesses when they go knocking door to door?
No, we're Baptists. We actually tell them that Jesus is the Lord. We don't try to go the other way. So,
all right.
Sorry if I offend anyone there, but that's my
that's
my
all
belief.
right.
So
all God's children, no judging. Go. What do you got?
So first thing, I was looking. This is how I got into this whole thing in the first place. I've been listening to like Robert Sungenis and Malcolm Bowden. You guys familiar with those guys?
Yeah.
Geocentrists. Okay, that's how I found out about your thing, and I immediately was like, "Oh crap, I've been wrong this whole time. I think they're actually right." Okay. And so my first thing was I go to one of my guys from work on Facebook, and I just say something like, "Hey, I think the Earth's flat, dude." And I left it at that. He got off. I go to work the next day, and my whole team is surrounding me and laughing at me. My boss comes out from the midst of them, and he just says, "I've never met anyone that actually thought the Earth was flat." So it got around that quick.
Wow.
So I don't recommend. I think Mark's right. Don't go out and tell people, "Hey, Earth's flat," because you are going to get laughed at. I mean, if you're cool with that, then by all means.
Yeah.
But the successful stories I've had is when I just called people or talked to people in my daily life, and I just ask them a question. You know, hey, why are the rays of the sun? Why are they in a triangle and not in a straight line?
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Hey, do you know the curvature of the Earth is 8 miles or 8 inches times mile divided by 12 for the feet?
Yeah.
They're like, no. And they go and look at it. Those people get converted pretty quickly if they're smart. You know, some people are obviously going to throw up that wall and say, hey, that's all I've known. I don't want to hear it. And some people are just going to kind of get on the fence, and you might have to work with them. But I've had people that just, boom, they jumped right over the fence. And mainly these are like my Christian brothers that they look in the Bible after what I say, and they're like, dude, you're right. And so I just wanted to say, don't be afraid to talk to people, but, you know, make sure you're wise about it. Ask a question to get the response that you're looking for. Don't just come out and throw it at them. Because, you know, it's a paradigm shift for that person. It's going to change their daily life, how you view the world every day. So
excellent advice.
It's radical. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree, man. Thank you very much for getting the word out there.
Right on.
Cool. Keep going. Oh, I had a question.
Sure.
I emailed you about this, Mark.
Okay.
And I have not found. I mean, I'm telling you, if there's someone doing flat Earth online, I've seen it. I've probably seen every video they got.
Okay.
I have not found one single video that can explain rotation of southern pole stars. If you guys can just get someone to crunch this down, because look, I've been on bed rest for 5 weeks. I had surgery.
Okay.
So I've done nothing but listen to this stuff and try to crunch numbers and draw out different models, and I can't figure it out. But I know the Earth is flat. It's most likely a circle, just like you got it down.
Yeah. I will talk.
Killing me.
No worries. I'll talk to Jeffrey Grubb, the biggest brain I know, and have him crunch some stuff on it.
Right on.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I'm going to get back to listening to your show. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Have a good night.
You.
All right.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Before you pick up the next one, Jonathan, let me read this. It'll take 30 seconds. Dear Mark, I'm a Bible-based Christian. This is why I'm reading this. Love what you're doing. Question: I reject the satellite lie. However, my brother-in-law thinks Google Earth images come from satellites. How could a camera from that far away capture such detail? Seems impossible. Taken from planes, obviously. How could I prove it to him? Thanks, Scott from Kentucky. Well, Scott, it's going to be tough to prove it to him, because when you take pictures from a spy plane, which get up, around 20 miles, or a modified AWAC, which is a little less than that, depending on the lens they use and how they stitch it together, it looks almost identical than what you could pass off as satellite imagery. So it's going to be really, really tough. How are you going to prove it one way or the other? Only with disclosure, and we're working on that. So, just rest assured, yeah, it's planes, whatever's taking those high altitude photos, more specifically Google Earth, it ain't satellites. So, there you go.
Okay.
Who else do we got on the
from Tennessee?
Hello, this is Charles. I talked to you way back, Mark.
Okay.
About a bunch of the stuff, and I don't know if you still got them. I'll forward them to you.
Okay.
When the Moore guy was on Art Bell,
sure.
I sent you the emails that I sent Art, the real scathing ones, and in fact, one of the things said, since you've been on air, I've been counting down the moments till you run away again. Basically.
So it was you.
And yeah. Well, yeah. I was thinking, will they knock on my door and claim I was out there? Thank God I've got excuses. But also, I was telling you, I've had a family involvement with the space program and the members, and I told you about a particular artifact. I got the family member. I hadn't seen him in a long time, but then hatchets were buried, and they did not deny that it existed. But after I'd said something on the air about that particular thing, their house got broken in 3 damn times.
Wow.
And they still can't find that because they've been clever about hiding it. It does exist, and I don't know if your memory will be jogged, but I told you about something very specific, and it could be the game changer.
Okay.
But it was real interesting that happened. I pulled away and didn't have anything to do with the dark matter.
Well, again, as long as you have an alibi, I'm sure everything will be fine. So no worries.
But when the thing that was so interesting, I just had a gut feeling to turn on a show, and that they had a big drama about that, and I thought, well, I just, it was an opportune time to turn on and hear the news. But, he was telling to be careful with people what you say. In some ways, I think the court jester and the fool really ran the palace.
Yeah.
In days of old. And there's a time certain personalities can pull it off.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed, many things have happened, and was always happy, but I'm ebullient now, and it's been a lot better since I got into this. It just blocked out a level of when you're lying to yourself and saying, well, I see things going on, the way the wind blows, the way this goes, and looking at things that they can't be the way they are, and it's somewhere deep down in your brain's doing the calculations, but then you're telling yourself what you've been told. Well, people will ask me, you've really changed a lot lately. You just don't seem like you give a shit about anything. Excuse me. But,
that's okay.
I give a crap about anything. And it was just, I had an event happen a few weeks ago. I was walking down, I walk a lot, and a car hit me at 40 miles an hour. And I just got up and walked away. And people were looking at me like, what are you? And this is one of the ultimate things I've ever encountered that was freeing. And it seems to make you freer every day as you're pulling.
Hate to do this to you, but we've got other callers backed up. Did you have a quick question, or was there something in particular you wanted to tie to Flat Earth? But
I will send you those emails again in case you lost them. You need to look at them and you'll laugh like everything. And do give Jonathan's email.
You know what? I will call that on air right now. Okay.
Because everything you all said when I was on hold, I heard the entire conversation you were going on with.
Okay.
But that was fun, the backside of the show. But I want to talk to Jonathan sometimes about some healing factors. I've got a real rare disorder, and I want to call him and talk to him. But be good, keep up the good work, and I think you won the debate. I think when your opponent walks off, you've won.
I agree. If you don't show up for the debate, I win. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for reaching out, okay?
You're good at dueling.
Oh, thank you.
See you, bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Real quick before we pick up the next one, should I give out your email address, or do you want to give it out?
What is it? perceptionstalkradio@gmail.com. Does that sound right?
There you go. perceptionstalkradio@gmail.com. Email Jonathan with any question, comments, or just troll him, really, if you can. I don't actually recommend that because Jonathan's got a temper on him.
You notice I didn't even know it because nobody even freaking emails me, so I don't even use it.
Email Jonathan and send him something for Christmas.
Something.
He needs something, some reinforcement.
Some flat Earth friends would be nice.
Flat Earth friendship, truth and harmony, love and forgiveness. I got another flat Earth clock in the mail today. How cool is that? Jonathan, he needs more stuff. He finds cobwebs in his mailbox. Real quick before we pick up this next call. Hello, this is Amy again. I listened to your show with Jonathan about the Masonic boards and noticed something interesting. The first board you showed had north, south, east, and west printed, where east was at the top. But the third Masonic board with the coffin had west at the top, and the head of the coffin facing west. If you put the first and third board together, the coffin would be upside down. I just thought it was interesting. Going along with your idea of a game over screen. That's all, Amy. Thank you, Amy.
Right on. Do you want to give the number out again so we can get a new roster?
You bet. Number to call, 866-37-TRUTH or 866-378-7884. Truth Frequency Radio and Strange World.
And from New York, thank you for waiting all this time.
Hey, guys. It's Mark from New York. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Not bad, not bad.
What's up?
I was calling. I had some more Stanton Friedman stuff. Oh, and all I got to say is, what the F? They killed the show, and now I'm just like, my jaw dropped when I heard that. I was like, what?
Oh, you should have heard me. I was swearing like a longshoreman when I heard this. Jonathan could vouch for it. I was like, are you kidding me?
I was the one who broke the news to him. And he
was the one that told me. So, by the way, Jonathan enjoyed it too much. So
no.
He did.
Oh, my God.
So
what's all month.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna debate him. I wanted you to know. One, he wasn't ever. I don't think he was ever a debunker. He worked for NASA way back when, and actually, he taught classes to Air Force people about UFOs and things, like kind of unofficial. He talked about it. It was like in a bunch of his lectures. And regarding the enclosed world, if you bring up with him, you ever hear the Drake's equation?
I have not, Jonathan.
Wait, which equations?
Drake's?
Drake.
No, no. Go ahead.
It's a calculation of probability of finding extraterrestrial life based on the amount of stars and possible stars that are out there.
Okay.
And, the UFO guys, they kind of believe in that. And then there was someone else who took it a step further. But Stanton doesn't like that, and I think that might be something to throw at him or use with the enclosed world because, all these people think that there's billions of possible planets.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just figured a little more stuff to look at.
Sure. It'll be interesting by the time he gets around to this. We'll see where the venue is because that's going to actually determine a lot. So, but I'm going to give it my all, and I've got my questions ready, and I promise not to be too hard on him because he's not my enemy. In the end, it's other.
No. I think he truly believes what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, and look, I mean, the whole flat Earth enclosed world theory actually helps his theory a lot because it gets rid of all the huge distances between planets and where these things, where the spaceships come from. If I say, look, they're in here with us or they're right outside of us, that makes it so much more practical. And I would think he would latch onto it if he bought it. So we'll see.
Yeah, 'cause he's all about the physics.
There you go. Yeah.
Cool.
And I wanted to say, from a gaming standpoint.
Oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yes, the best flat Earth simulating game out there, I believe, is GTA 5. I play it all the time.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
Nice.
It really is a good sim for that.
All
And
right.
it even has some Crow 777 moon stuff, because the moon will move and occult the stars, but you can see them through the fake moon.
Nice. And for those who aren't gamers, that's Grand Theft Auto 5,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I did not play personally, even though I may get it. Maybe I'll rip it because it involves.
If you get it on PC, I'll play with you. I'll
Okay.
show you some fun stuff.
Okay.
Oh, I'd like to do that. My son plays on
You
Xbox,
can
and
get
it's
it
not
through
compatible.
Steam. Do it on Steam.
All right.
That's the best deal.
I'm down for that.
Go to Steam. They download that. They even brought out an old game, Flight Sim X. Sorry, I love that stupid game.
Nice. Thanks, man, very much.
All right. Thanks,
All
buddy.
right, cool. I'll keep calling. You guys keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks,
You're
man.
awesome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, man. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Before we pick up the next one, let me rip off this one.
You threw out the number this
Oh, yeah. Number again, 866-378-7884 or 8. Sorry, go ahead.
By the way, I was going to say, don't dial 877 because I made that mistake earlier today.
Ooh, is it a porn line?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes, it is.
It's phone sex?
Yeah.
Do not dial 877-378-7884 because, and especially don't do it with your parents' credit card in your hand. Do not do it. I'm warning you, kids. Just say no. That's a funny story. I'll tell you after. Sure. Anyway, so Steve writes, "Hey, Mark. So instances. I know that on the surface, it does seem to be a complex subject, but it's really not. My contention is simple, but the subject is mind-blowing. To use a Matrix reference, even though the film did not invent the principle, our 5 senses send electrical data to our brain. Then our brain creates the reality that we experience. We are all experiencing our own subjective reality. The only place this reality exists is in our heads. Not a new concept, but I like where he's going with this. It is possible to alter someone's perception of reality through hypnosis. There is a reference to this in a book called The Holographic Universe, which I know about.
Good book.
A man was hypnotized into not being able to see his daughter.
Yep.
And that's nothing new. Anyone can do that, right? A watch was held behind the small of his daughter's back. He could see the watch, but not his daughter. He could even read an inscription on the watch. The conscious mind that we were programmed with was put there so that our creative power could be accessed externally. I'd be happy to engage in a dialogue with you about this topic. Which do you want, the blue pill or the red pill? Steve. Wow.
It's interesting he says that because we just acquired a hypnotherapist in our office.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to work with her and do some of those experiments on myself.
Oh, cool.
To see if I can be tricked into,
Yeah, I think that's fascinating. I mean, that opens, hypnosis that you could actually, because technically you should be, if the daughter was standing in front of you, hypnosis generally says that, well, you couldn't read the watch behind her. You would just say, oh yeah, I can see the watch, but it's blurry. One of those things where it's like, oh yeah, there's a watch there, but I can't read it for some reason.
Right.
But if you can actually read the description, well, that's a whole other thing. Do we have a caller or can I read another one?
Two of them. You want to pick one up?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. This is from Fargo, North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Right on.
Yeah, unfortunately, gentlemen, I'm in Moorhead, Minnesota, but because of us being a small town, we have to claim North Dakota, not by choice, of course.
That's okay. That's okay. Up there in Minnesota, up there near the Iron Range?
Well, I am Native American, so I'm not going to go into the Scandinavian, but if it makes you feel better, I can speak the language of my ancestors.
Nice.
How are you gentlemen this evening?
We are
Would you like to talk about the flat Earth and what the Native Americans say about the flat Earth theory?
Please enlighten us. What do you got?
I'm sorry.
No, seriously. What's
well, my name is.
Go ahead.
My name is Naifeh. I'm Native American. I'm from the Anishinaabe tribe, but I'm also British. So there's a dichotomy within me that's constantly battling itself. But I listen to the flat Earth theory and that aspect. And if I may add my 0.75 to this. As a Native American, we are taught that the celestial bodies are round and spherical in form and shape.
Okay.
And we have pictographs or hieroglyphics or iconography or symbology, however you want to depict it, where we would use sacred scrolls, whether they be copper scrolls or birch bark scrolls, that would have our legends and histories written on them and symbols that would mean a whole extensive meaning to each symbol and stuff.
Okay.
And the oldest known symbol is the dot. So if you think of Ugg and Og just sitting there with sand and a stick, you know, the first symbol they do is a dot.
Okay.
And then the second symbol is the line because of the stick that they have. And from the line, you get into creating a circle.
Okay.
If you can think of just holding one point and then going around in a circle, you create the circle.
Yep, like the string.
And this is the correct. These are the oldest known symbols in the written history of the world, and this goes into its own speculations because it's his story or history, two separate categories. As far as the powers that shouldn't be in their designs of control.
Yep.
But
got one minute to the break, so go ahead.
So in the ancient teachings, they talk about these celestial bodies being spheres, and being also a veteran of the Navy. Do you gentlemen know about gyroscopes?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what does a gyroscope use as its model to have its point of reference?
The sphere.
Correct.
Yep.
And so the gyroscope works on the concept that there's a center to the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we are on a sphere and we're using gyroscopes, it is using the electromagnetic polarities or dualities of the center of the sphere to where the gyroscope is.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Thanks for reaching out. We'll be back with more Strange World.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TLR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World with Mark and Jonathan. Before we pick up our next series of callers, I want to read a quick email. Hey, Mark, I've always been a skeptic. We have no idea who sent this, by the way. Hey, Mark, I've always been a skeptic of everything. Never questioned the globe as we have been conditioned to see it this way. When I first came across your videos, you only had a few out at the time. Of course, after listening to just a little bit of it, I became skeptical of it naturally. I thought about it for some time and came back to your videos eventually and allowed myself to come into it with an open mind. I realized this enclosed world makes more sense than the one our government had led us to believe. I don't want to drag this on, but I had a couple questions. With the Dark Knight satellite, do you believe it's alien? Or thoughts on it? If we are enclosed and we found it orbiting our globe, is simply just suspended somehow? If there is no true outer space in here, my second question is about Solomon's Ring. I just finished listening to the YouTube video and was curious about your thoughts on how the ring may be linked, or maybe CERN, and how the Vatican is involved. CERN may be looking for a potential way out or something. I don't know. Just some thoughts. Oh, and P.S. Tell Jonathan hi. And he spelled your name wrong.
Of course. Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah,
Is that how it's spelled?
Exactly. Do I believe in the Dark Knight satellite? Not as a satellite, not orbiting. No. If it's suspended up there, who knows? It could. The Dark Knight satellite could just be another globe reinforcement tool, like the face on Mars. Is any different than that, or the thing on top of Saturn? So any story that gets put out, whether it's leaked or it's put out publicly by NASA, if it's related to NASA in some way, you might as well just assume it's a lie. There. That's about as easy as I can make it. And the rest of the questions we don't have time for right now. So anyway, thank you very much, whoever the person was that didn't sign their name on this.
Give out the number.
The number is 866-378-7884. You can call to just talk to Jonathan and I about anything you want. Haters need not apply, but we have still yet to get a hater which we can hang up on and they can say, you suck, or they're drunk.
No, I'm going to say that this is Mr. On the Edge on the air. Coming up next.
Okay. We have an anonymous call that's coming in from somewhere.
From the book depository.
Nice.
Dallas, Texas. Here we go.
Dallas, Texas. Here we go.
Who do we got?
This is Scott.
Oh, I was wrong.
Hey, Jonathan was wrong. Hey, Scott, what's going on?
Yeah, Scott and Burien.
Oh, Scott.
So
Scott from Burien. You're in Washington.
No, I was calling. Yeah, and you do hear the airplanes because I live right by SeaTac, and by the way, their noses are always having to adjust to land.
Nice. Seattle Tacoma Airport, just south of Seattle, Washington. Yeah, nice. So what's on your mind?
So, well, I wanted to call and just talk with you about what we talked earlier today about Admiral Byrd.
Okay.
And that he had died of a heart ailment while sleeping, according to Wiki.
Yep.
However, he did have some health problems leading up to that, and those health problems were brought on by him wanting to disclose the truth about Antarctica. Also, Byrd's son, Richard E. Byrd III, his only son, accompanied his father on Operation High Jump. Back in October of 1988, the son was no.
When he died. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So the son, back in October of 88, at the age of 68, he died and his body was found in a warehouse in Baltimore. He went missing on September 13th of 88 after being placed on a train in Boston bound for D.C. for December 13th. He was supposed to attend an event at the National Geographic Society honoring his father's 100th birthday, but never arrived. So apparently he was going to maybe spill some beans at that event. Maybe. But I find that funny that it was the National Geographic Society. So obviously they hold a lot of weight in this as well as NASA.
Yeah.
Also, too.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
Well, in 96, they released Byrd's diary of the May 9th, 26th flight to the North Pole, and it revealed erased but still legible sextant sites that sharply differ with Byrd's later June 22nd typewritten official report to the National Geographic Society.
Wow.
Also, too, Byrd became an active Freemason of the Federal Lodge No. 1 on March 9th. March 19th of 1921.
Wow, interesting.
So he was a Freemason.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think Byrd knew exactly that the Earth was flat, and it was tearing away at him, and he wanted to share it with people, but maybe he was bound by some confidentiality agreement or something of that nature, and it eventually took toll on his health.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, and Bird was in trouble, and I think everybody that was associated with him, including his son, was monitored for a long, long time. So, anything else? We've got, unfortunately, we've got a bunch of callers tonight. Anything else I can do for you?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to share that tidbit with you, and I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate the work you and Jonathan are doing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. And you have a good night. Don't get hit by any planes down there.
Thanks. Yeah, you guys have a good night, too.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye.
You know what I was just thinking? What? If you go back to the 40s and 50s and think about it back then, there was no internet.
Yeah.
Right? So the men that were doing their jobs, they really believed in what they were doing. They did have integrity. And when they were looking at the world as a whole, they were really taking into consideration possible war between countries, maybe what happened right after World War II. They were thinking about the mindset of the public, not just the American public, but the world over. You saw the way people reacted in most sci-fi movies and such.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess when they did things like what was that? Not War of the Worlds, the thing that Orson Welles did, the radio thing.
Oh, no, that was War of the Worlds.
That was War of the Worlds? Okay.
Yeah, the first, then it was remade into a movie, but initially it was a radio broadcast.
Yeah, I think that there were measures like that they got to gauge the mindset of the public. Because, if you go back to the first talkie, I like to call it talkies.
Talkie.
Steamboat Willie with Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
There's reports of people that freaked out and actually screamed and got scared of what they saw because they couldn't, their mind couldn't process what the hell they were seeing. This mouse that was whistling and talking. And you see what I'm saying? So if they were taking those if they were gauging the American public, they said, you know what? People are going to lose their crap. Like, they're going to go nuts if we tell them the truth right now. And so they've had to step it through the nuclear age, the space age, technology age. And now we're going into nano. So maybe this is the delivery. It's now.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that from a responsibility standpoint. Because these are people that are responsible for the whole world, right? I mean, we're talking about economic collapse in any instance that people lose their crap.
True. Excellent points all around.
Mm.
And I agree.
All right. I'm done.
Rants by Jonathan.
Oh, like Jack Handley.
Opinions expressed by Jonathan are not necessarily. I'm surprised that TFR actually doesn't do a disclaimer on any
for our show, at least, or
for our show. Yeah.
By
the way, we're going to talk to you about flat Earth, and we're not even on drugs. Yeah.
All right, we got another call. You want to do it?
Wait, before you do that, let me read this one quick. Take 2 seconds. This one is from Jay. Hey, Mark, I've been listening a lot to your interviews and think you're doing a great job. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with the newest episodes of South Park. I haven't. But wow, have they really been nailing it with how the world is right now? Everything to how our news is being corrupted, the deception behind it, talking about another race that is using ads and controlling people with them. At the final episode, the people finally realized they had been fooled, all along admit they are at war with the ads and unite as people to take them down. It's pretty awesome. No show on TV is telling it like South Park. I really recommend watching episodes 7 through 10 of season 19. It's free at southparkstudios.com. What's amazing to me is that South Park is 19 seasons in. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That's, Simpsons, huge track record. South Park, huge track record. That's amazing. So yeah, and also if you get a chance, check out. I can't remember the season or the episode, but the episode name is called "Canceling Earth." Fascinating. That Earth is actually just a reality show for an advanced race, and then once they find out they're actually on a show, they cancel it and try to destroy the world. Anyway, I won't give it away. Other than that,
okay.
So who do we have on?
I'm not even going to guess anymore.
Okay, what's
all routed?
Oh boy, that doesn't sound.
Yeah, that laugh. He's like, I know who that is.
Oh, tell me this is not flat Earth news.
Yeah, it is. God.
All right.
Oh, it was just I heard Jonathan was just pushing it out there, and I'm like, I gotta call in. It's not your show unless I at least call in once.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Thanks.
No, I'm just saying hi.
Yeah. Oh, you said.
That was it. I had nothing, dude. I had nothing.
Nothing.
Not a thing. Just called say hi.
That's fantastic. And Jonathan, 3, 2, 1. And that
You're
was
doing
Wes.
it again.
No. Jonathan, that was your signal to kill him.
Oh, I did it that time.
Oh, okay, good. That was Wes from Flat Earth News, and he had nothing. He was just calling in to say hi.
You know, I got to start using this soundboard again.
Oh, so you can kill
So
him
when he
with
calls in, I'm going to play Stevie Wonder's "I Just Called to Say I Love You." That's going to be his intro theme. And then when people talk about worrying about what their friends and family think about telling them about the flat Earth,
Yeah.
I'm going to play that woman's voice, Karen Black, was it from Exorcist? From Carrie, where she says they're all going to laugh at you. That should be.
You mean the original mother? You mean when
was that Karen Black or who was it? Remember, she was the funny.
The original was Sissy Spacek.
Yeah.
Not the one with Chloe Grace Moretz. Although I got to tell you, she did a pretty good job.
Oh, what really? That was good. A remake?
Yeah. Look at the remake of Carrie with Chloe Grace Moretz. She plays a pretty freaky. She's pretty scary, pretty well. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, you don't do the call to say I love. Well, actually, you could, because I hate that song. It would drive me nuts. Just make me want to hang up even quicker.
Oof.
Sorry. No, I like Wes. I do.
I do too.
I do. I like Wes. Before you get to the next one, real quick, Daniel writes, "Hey, Mark. Would like, first of all, to thank you for opening my eyes to the flat Earth. After only a couple of days grappling with the overall idea and some sleepless nights, I came to a place of overall happiness. I agree that it could be a positive thing for all of us on the plane. I wanted to point out that Christmas TV ads in the UK, he's in the UK, for John Lewis. This is a chain of department stores over here. The two I have seen so far are very focused on the moon. One shows a grandfather on the moon with a telescope looking to Earth at his granddaughter, also with a telescope. One of the others shows an offer on the GoPro camera floating to the moon on helium balloons. There are a lot of these in this vein on their channel. I have included the link below for you to check out. Interesting stuff. Reinforcing the globe model at every opportunity, it seems. Keep up the good work. Feel free to read this on air if you wish, and you can give my name if you want to. Kind regards, Daniel Payne, Boston, UK. I didn't even know there was a Boston in the UK, but that explains why there's a Boston over here, doesn't it?
Yeah, wait a minute. They believe in the flat Earth over there too?
Over in the UK?
Yeah, I thought this was just like an American joke. I thought they thought like, oh, those Americans, they're such a daft sort, you know.
Daft? Bloody ridiculous.
I just lost respect for UK. They give us like brilliant stuff like Monty Python, and wow, they believe in the flat Earth too. Okay.
Yeah, but they also made Benny Hill.
I love Benny Hill.
Oh, dude, come on. Really? Except for the topless nudity, you know. What else has it got?
Fast motion film with that Benny Hill song.
Well, you know, it's true. We're not going to go into it because we could do a whole show on it. And that is American media steals from the British constantly because our demographics are so similar that if it works in the UK, it's almost guaranteed to work here. So we do an American version. A perfect example would be Three's Company.
Is that real? That was a British?
It was a British show first.
Get out of here.
And the spinoff that they did when Jack and his girlfriend finally moved out and went on their own.
Right.
That became a spinoff here.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Huh. We got two more calls. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's just take them.
Zing them. Okay.
Yeah, what do you got?
Spin the wheel. I don't know where. Illinois.
Is it?
Yeah, that's Eric.
Eric.
Hey.
I talked to you. Yeah, I talked to you yesterday, Mark.
Oh, cool. What's going on?
Oh, well, I just thought I'd call in.
Tell me you got more than Wes.
Yeah, I do. I got more than a shout out, just for sure.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I mentioned in an email about Libyan desert glass. Have you guys looked into that at all?
I've heard of it, but go ahead. What do you got? I mean, explain.
Well, Libyan desert glass is a really ancient glass. They use it a lot in Egyptian art back in the day, and they say that it's from meteorites.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, kind of hard to have meteorites when you're in a dome.
Sure.
So, you know what it's made out of is silicon dioxide.
Okay.
Now, when I started looking into this and to see it only happens in one place on the entire Earth, which is over and around Libya and Egypt,
mm-hmm.
I just emailed both you and Jonathan an email showing you a map.
Okay.
Where this is at. So the reason I started looking into what it's made out of is because silicon dioxide is a very efficient dielectric.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, Tesla, he was obsessed with learning about electricity. I'm sure you know quite a bit about Tesla.
Of course.
One of the things that he created to try and understand lightning was the plasma globe. You know, the thing you find at Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
You know, where you touch it and then the beam focuses.
Oh, I see where
and
you're
you have
going
the
with
electricity touching your finger.
Okay.
So the glass is designed to be a dielectric. The way he designed it originally, when you look up his design, he had what was called a plasma lamp. So he created the plasma lamp in an effort to recreate the structure that he believed, because he believed in the firmament.
Ah.
Wait, you're saying Tesla believed in the firmament?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually sent you a quote of his that talking about the firmament.
Cool.
He said, though free to think and act, we are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them. Yeah, he believed in the Bible. He believed in what was called the ether energy, and he believed in a firmament.
Oh, yeah, he believed in ether.
So for him...
ether and density instead of gravity.
Correct.
Right.
And seeing that he was a lot smarter than pretty much every scientist, including Einstein,
yeah,
I think people should listen to him.
Yeah, I
agree. He didn't have to create complex math problems in order to prove anything. He just proved it.
Agreed.
So,
I was going to say,
he created...
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I went back to visit my high school one year, and I asked the kids there, it was a science class, a senior class, and I said, who's the father of electricity? Nobody raised their hand. And then finally somebody said, I don't know, Benjamin Franklin. I was like, somebody else said Edison. I said, all right, who's the father of AC electricity, the stuff that you use every day? And nobody had a freaking clue.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's terrible. Everybody thinks Thomas Edison was, some great guy, but
yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that when the whole race, the AC-DC race was going on, Tesla actually signed off again. He gave up his royalties so that Westinghouse could actually have the money to contend so that AC electricity would be available, because DC electricity, if Thomas Edison would have had his way, would have been too expensive for common folk, and it would have only been available for rich people.
Yeah, he would have had a power station on every other corner or something, but a limited,
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, yeah, he had the dome, and it had to be a dielectric. So the silicon dioxide, the Egyptians called the rock of God.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a yellowish color to it also, about the exact same color as the sun. And to create this firmament design, he had to put in the same elements like argon and oxygen to create the lightning, and something had to actually touch the dome in order for the lightning to occur. And at the very center of a plasma globe is a Tesla coil, and the thing that makes a Tesla coil work forms a very strong magnet at the center.
Yeah. Where we would have
So
our
I
North
thought that
Pole.
was...
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the other map that I sent you in the email showed that the highest amount of electricity, the most lightning bolts in the Earth, is focused on the exact same place where they find this Libyan desert glass.
Interesting. Like it. I'm going to have to do some more research on it.
Yeah, now I'm interested.
I sent you a couple.
Okay. I'll check it out.
So that was pretty much it for today. But
thank you. Thank you very much. Right on. All right.
No problem.
Well, hey, thank you very much for calling in.
No problem. Have a good one.
Hey,
right, thanks.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out now.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That was Eric, right?
Yeah, that was Eric.
Very cool.
And if Tesla was onto it, it doesn't surprise me at all. Of course, I still think Tesla had some of the cheat codes for this world, because some of the stuff he came up with, the little things like the earthquake machine and the death ray and all that other fun stuff. I mean, if he honestly had a handheld earthquake machine, he was tapping into something that was way beyond the pale.
Well, I think I remember reading something that he had really bad migraines and stuff.
Yeah.
And he even had to put like padding or something on his bed, so any kind of vibration would set him off. But it could be like he was getting, like you said, downloads or something, like somebody was sending something his way.
Yeah.
And there was something strange about him. A lot of his behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. Real quick, I wanted to get this email out of the way because it's kind of kind of pat on the back type thing. It's from Carl, and Carl says, "Don't be too hard on yourself. Take it as a badge of honor that they are now opening with their big guns, using disinformation to try to undermine your credibility. Frankly, I'm surprised they have not resorted to this tactic before now. But now that they have decided to go thermonuclear, you can expect much more of this and worse. By the way, there have been some bellwether items on the radar recognizable by those of us, such as myself, in the public relations community, specifically the employment of fake aliases for some of your correspondents. When they cannot defeat you in an open intellectual battle, they will resort to ad hominem attacks. Wow. Expect strange posts. I don't say that word often. Strange postings from people who claim to have known you in prison, etc. Fake postings by spoofers claiming to be you, stuffing, taking the titles, names, and creating musical groups, weird, often obscene videos that mimic your stuff, etc. The tactic is to create a blizzard that ties you up in denials or creates a fog of entries that makes finding you, separating you from fake background noise difficult and frustrating. Just thought it might try to inoculate you against the coming future attractions. It won't change or prevent this activity, but it may help your morale. Best always, Carl. Thanks, Carl.
Right on.
Warn me what may be coming my way. Hasn't come at me yet, but
something wicked this way comes.
Thanks. That's great. What do we got? Sorry, do we have calls or can I read one?
Maybe this one is the man from the edge.
From Australia? All right, we got 3 minutes to break, so let's bring him on quick.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Oh, Jonathan's wrong again. Who are you? Why are you calling us?
Nah, Jonathan's right. I was pretty convincing, yeah.
Oh, wow. You were doing an American accent. That's really good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Anyway.
Wow. Australian doing American
cowboy. I got a bit of a laugh, yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. That's great. Hey, you got roughly 2.5 minutes. What do you got?
That's cool. I'll be quick. I wanted to put it out there. I am planning to do a bit of a short-term / long-term idea of measuring the brightness of the sun from my position here in Australia, because I have a feeling that it will be a good way to plot how the sun is positioned in the south compared to in the north. So I'm putting the call out there to anyone, or whether you guys want to get involved, to also plot the sun every day for a whole year, so we can get a whole 365-year cycle of the brightness of the sun. So I need someone from the north, I need someone from the south. That's me. And yeah, we should be able to get a pretty decent correlation to see, and that should be able to plot how high the sun may or may not be in relation to the north or the south. And it could give us a decent shape of how the sun sits in our sky. And it'll also debunk the whole idea that we have this elliptic sort of orbit around the sun. I mean, we already have debunked that, but...
I would entertain that idea, but I'd wait till 2017 because next year's a leap year, so I don't think it would work.
Really?
Right. So that means we have a February 29.
Right.
And that would screw the whole thing up?
No, I'm just...
Are you just messing with me?
Yeah, I'm just messing.
Oh, jeez.
That was as convincing as my American accent, Jonathan. Nice one.
Anyway,
just put the call out there. If anyone's interested, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
That's fantastic. You might want to make a YouTube video about it if you can.
Actually, I might do that. But that was it. Just putting the call out, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Cool. All right, man.
See you soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right on. Real quick, I want to read this one before the break because I got 30 seconds. This one's from Jimmy. Mark, on a globe, the ships go over the curve, right? So I was watching a plane fly over my city, and I thought, wait, if ships go over the curve and disappear, then shouldn't planes look like they are going to crash into the ground because of the curve and also disappear? Good point. Shouldn't planes, when they go in a distance, all of a sudden, take this nosedive over the curve and look like they're actually just going to bury into the ground? And they don't. They just keep going. Interesting point, huh? I thought it was interesting.
That is interesting. I never thought of
that. Hey, we're going to go a break, aren't we? And
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. There we go. Mercury retrograde.
Right on.
Check wallet for his name. His face is in the muck. I think his zipper's stuck.
Radio Ranch with Robert Sales. Monday through Friday on Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, and yes, that was Joe Jackson with Stepping Out.
I'm sorry.
I have to
don't mean
say that
laugh.
because people are people are giving me crap because I mention that every time. They guess so now I'm getting emails saying yes, we know that was Joe Jackson stepping out.
But does everybody hear it stutter, or is it just on ours?
No, it's just us because we're doing kind of a bandwidth thing. So when we hear the monitor on our side, when we hear the music coming back in, sometimes it sounds like it's an LP that somebody's poured honey into the grooves.
More like a cassette that somebody pulled on.
There you go. Right. It sounds like a cassette that's getting jammed in the recorder.
Oh my God, man.
It warbles, and it's just like going, and it happens all the time. And we're like going, man, and it never, of course, when we play it back, it's not there.
No, it's not.
We hear it. It sounds like a train wreck. So
that's too funny.
Anyway, before we pick up the next call, Simone writes, and you probably got this. Sent a picture, and the tip of the trunk is about Antarctica. Antarctica looks like an elephant's head.
I got that, yeah.
And the tip of the trunk is called Elephant Island. Another clue of the elephant in the room from Simone. Simone sends some interesting stuff, so thank you, Simone.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Do we have...
do you want to go out the number? There's nobody left.
Oh, good. 866-378-7884, 866-378-7884. Feel free to talk to Jonathan and I about anything you want, your feelings, your relationship with your mother, whatever. Anyway, this one's from Pavel. Pavel says, "Hey, Mark, I recently found your channel. I am not sure if you have noticed and already commented, but the blue marble photo can't be a photo because it's showing Africa, as in the Mercator projection. We know that the projection is wrong and does not show reality. So the old blue marble photo is fake 100%. While I'm not really sure what is the truth, I do not believe the official Globe story. Thank you, Pavel Petrov." Pavel, you may be right, except the problem with the original blue marble photo from 1972 is, and you might have something there, is that we don't know, since we can't see any other continents except Antarctica, we have nothing to compare Africa against. So yeah, it looks, you don't know for sure how big it would be if you stretched the Gall-Peters map on a globe, what it should look like. But yeah, you get a point. So somebody should do that. See if they could stretch the Gall-Peters map on a globe and then compare it to the blue marble. And with a 3D modeling software, maybe able to dig up something. Yeah. It's possible. I'm not knocking it. Naomi writes, "Dear Mark, thank you for the research you put into the flat earth theory. I too felt it ridiculous when I first heard it, but after much time on YouTube and the internet in general, I came to see the light. There was an interview you were doing with a call-in show, and a question was posed that you could not answer. The question was, if the Anunnaki or God created this enclosed world, why? After all my own research, I may have that answer. I have added 2 and 2 in this whole theory. It answered the age-old question of why we are here. It is very profound, yet simple. I've not, by the way, read this. I would love to discuss my theory with you if you have time. My name is Naomi, and I am college educated. I am not some whack job trying to hurt you or anything like that. Let me know if it's
it's a trap.
It's a trap, isn't it? It's a trap. Tell you what, Naomi, if you're listening to the show, and you might be, if you're listening to the show right now, write me, and we will either discuss it on Skype or just shoot me. If you found the theory to life, I'd like to know. Because
it doesn't matter what the topic is. It's a woman. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Great. And even though I do not want to make a Star Wars reference because Star Wars is...
It's a tarp? Oh, go ahead.
It's the Akbar reference.
Yes.
It's a trap.
exactly what I was
or that magnitude.
That's exactly.
Oh my God!
I can't believe you got that.
I just got lucky on that one. The Star Wars reference. Oh God, it is not going to look. A J.J. Abrams movie is not going to be the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
You just got to understand what it's up against. With Avatar. Avatar, there were people just going back week after week after week because technologically it was amazing. I mean, yeah, he's got 3D on his side now, but we've had 3D for 4 or 5 years. I mean, when was Avatar? 2008, something like that. Anyway, Chris writes, "Hey Mark, wasn't sure if you got around to checking out the Peter Sellers movie, The Party. Remember that was one I sent to you? I thought I would send you a couple screenshots. I've had this movie for about 20 years and never really noticed what the elephant in the room was all about. It had always been my favorite Peter Sellers flick. See, I'd never even seen it. I could go on and on, but my experience with dealing with this info is the same as most. I will say that in my couple of flights back and forth to Los Angeles using an altitude indicator app and a wall corner at both airports, there was only a 0.2 to 0.7 degree difference in plumb vertical. At a distance of 1,980 some miles, it should be about 28 degrees. 1 degree every 69 miles or so. 25,000 miles circumference divided by 360 degrees. Anyway, love your show. Good luck with your debate. Fellow Earth resident Chris."
How do you argue with that? Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a good observance.
The degrees. Check it out if you get a chance. Listen to that again. Technology.
Read that back. Read that calculation he did.
Oh, crap. Now I got to find it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. What was his name again? It was... I just killed it. No, just play it back.
All right.
Whoever's listening, just rewind it and play it back. But it's 25,000 miles circumference divided by 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So, should be able to figure something out there. Excuse me. Suzanne, does she write? Yeah. Hey, Mark and Jonathan. Excuse me. Rarely get to listen to whole shows. Something is stuck in my throat. Always a couple days later, too, but really enjoy them. Have emailed you a few times. Last time a few days ago about the Wicked Heavens reference from a YouTube video on Dead Sea Scrolls. Sure would love to call at some point. Things come up such as my husband asking how the solar eclipses work. I have watched some videos on it. He doesn't watch, but loves to discuss points. But I have a difficult time explaining it in words. Carl, my partner, a German, is a rebel. When the first moon landing happened, yes, we are older, he did not believe it, voiced his opinion to my friends, was laughed at, which he never cares about. Anyway, he's a very unique guy, very funny and crude, but I love him. We love discussing the flat earth topic. As we see from observing ourselves, the earth is not a ball. Such as we find it hard to believe pilots and anyone flying in a plane cannot see for themselves the flat plane that goes on and on. Also, the aircraft never making corrections for a curve. Have to make a point to coordinate my time when you are on air, and we'll call sometime. Keep up the great work, guys. Suzanne from British Columbia, Canada.
How much you want to bet? Carl, she said, is her friend?
Yeah.
How much you want to bet that guy knows how to turn a wrench or something?
Probably.
Like he's one of those guys, you know what I mean? Like he's self-sufficient, and he obviously doesn't work in a cubicle, so he doesn't care what people think. Or if he does, he's like that guy that everybody goes to because he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
I find that time and again. There's the people who have always said, this is just my own observance, whether they were ahead of everybody else with not going to the moon or anything like that, they were like the most technically proficient people. So their basis was always, from that scientific, logical mind. Not necessarily scientists, but like mechanical guys, because they would think about things about fulcrums and angles and, this, that, and the other.
They've got a 3D mind. Basically.
That's what I mean. Yeah, a lot of guys were like build, and I'm not talking about Masons. I'm Portuguese, right? I'm half Portuguese. These are guys that would just be like moving cement all day, and they're just like, hey, not for nothing. This is what I'm telling you, and they're basing it off, how much an I-beam weighs. And they said, you're friggin' telling me you're launching a rocket all the way to the moon based on what an I-beam weighs? I mean, look at this bucket of spackle, right? You see what I'm saying? Like these are guys that work with, but when you have somebody sitting in a cubicle at a desk tapping keys and stuff, they really don't have any logic.
They don't have
the physical matter,
the 3D physical perspective,
on
how heavy stuff is and how big things are. Which is why that quote that I read. I read part of it, but I'm not going to read it again until the debate. where Werner von Braun says that, look, it's physically freaking impossible to send something that big to the moon and get these guys back. Even if it was 230,000 miles away. Yeah, we might be able to get them there. You're never getting them back.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. Not physically with the technology that we have. So,
and let me just go on the record and saying this time and again, I will always trust somebody who works with their hands, actually puts in a hard day's, labor and all that, because look, if you have somebody who knows who's doing economics with paper and stuff like that, whether they're lawyers or whatever like that, they're just pushing numbers and tapping keys. I look at people that, like I said, they're working with practical and mechanical applications or whatnot, farmers, whatever. They have all the skills. They're well-rounded. They have to understand economics, how to allocate time, how to allocate seed, whatever they're doing on the farm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of mind I think that really made America what it was back in the day, like all these innovations and inventions.
Indeed.
Of course, somebody like Tesla or somebody who's going to get prominence for the bigger stuff that they do. Yeah. But your average person, and like the people that are calling in, they're going to see things from that one perspective, or they're going to run with it and be like, oh, my God, they just sweetened the pie. They just uncovered this. So I want to thank everybody again, everybody who contributes to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
But good point. And thank you for me as well. Absolutely. Everybody's, because it's the hive mind, which I've mentioned so many times. Somebody is going to just trip over this thing before it's over. They're going to find the little nugget. That's why it's why I keep calling it a gold rush. Somebody is going to find that one little thing that everybody gets. Everybody understands it.
And again, I was a little harsh earlier, and I'll say it again. To Neil deGrasse Tyson's credit, like I said, he's part of an organization. He has a lot of people that he's responsible for. So I don't fault the guy for that. Like I just said, a person who's working on their own volition, they own their own shop. They can do whatever they want. They can say things like, "Oh, we never went to the moon," but he really can't. So again, I apologize if I was too if I was too harsh on him earlier.
Good. You can apologize because I'm not going to.
Oh, good cop. What happened?
I want this guy. I want this.
Damn.
I want this guy so bad because he has an opportunity to do something great. And he is either going to be the biggest foil of all time or the biggest hero. And I'm sorry.
I haven't seen a white guy go after a black guy with such vengeance since Rocky 2.
Thanks, man. That's great.
I'm sorry.
That's right. Meanwhile, let's get back to the emails, shall we?
Sure.
Letters. We get letters. I still got to finish my Flat Earth Christmas card. So I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's a woman. My name is Seoirse.
What?
Sourcey?
Sourcey?
We'll say Sourcey. Brennan. I'm Irish, but currently live in Brazil. Love the videos. Okay. So I've just started writing my book about flat Earth in Portuguese for the Brazilian audience, and I wondered if you have thought about something and researched it. So assuming I'm right, the distance between the Earth and the Sun on a globe model remains relatively the same distance apart, while the rotation, and if there is a slight variation, it's negligent as the sun is so huge on the globe model. However, as the sun sets, it looks as if the sun gets smaller because on a flat plane, it makes sense as it's moving away. And as it rises, it looks like it gets bigger because on a flat plane it becomes closer. But on a globe model, it shouldn't be even a factor. It should come up looking huge already and not even should not be changed at all. Anyway, keep up the great work and please send me your thoughts back as I would love to hear them. Best regards, Seoirse. I think there's a movie star with that first name too. Cerise Ronan or Cerise? God. Anyway.
Wait, spell it one more time.
Seoirse. Anyway, to that person who just wrote, check out Jeffrey Grupp he on Zeteticism.com, and he makes some wonderful videos and shows what appears to be the sun actually getting smaller and getting larger as it like what you were just expecting there. Because if it's 92 million miles away or 93 million miles away, you shouldn't see a difference at all because it's so big and so huge that you shouldn't see. It should be imperceptible to the human eye.
Just so you know, it's an Irish boy's name, and it means farmer.
Oh.
I just sent you the spelling. It says first name pronounced, and look at the spelling they give you.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it looks like it's Shorsha.
Shorsha. Okay. Well, let's do an easier one. This one's from Frank. Frank writes, see, change your name. Very interested in flat Earth theory. The flat path video you did is what got me hooked in. Very interesting stuff. I spent a lot of time tracking flights myself and scratching my head. I had a short experience as a truck driver doing cross-country hauls, and it always confused me how we could lose satellite GPS out in rural areas like Nevada. If GPS is truly land-based, this would make sense. One idea I had was, what if the ground-based satellites are able to simply bounce their signals off the firmament, alleviating the need for space-positioned satellites to receive and broadcast signals at all? I know for a fact that ham radio operators can bounce signals off the moon and certain levels of the atmosphere, depending on current conditions. I believe it's the ionosphere. This may be worth looking into if there are any clues to help support flat Earth theory in this phenomena. Thank you, Frank. And that actually reminds me, I should send you the story before it's lost, and that is on CNN right now. There is a story that says how climate change is making the Earth spin slower. Could not make that up if I tried. In fact, hang on. While I'm on with you, and I know the listeners are probably saying, why is he looking up stuff online? I got to find this for you. Hang on. While I scroll down. Come on. I don't care about the debate. These guys are saying nothing. It says, did they already pull the story? God darn it. Hang on. Oh, yeah, here it is. What's causing the Earth to spin slower? That's the name of it, right? And I will send it to you right now. That's on CNN right now.
I can't do it anymore. I can't look. It's like
look. Click on that while I'm looking at the next email.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Let's see here.
My son's going to do a book report, and he's going to like reference this. Like what?
Yeah. Angela writes, all compasses point to magnetic north, or in the case of the flat Earth theory, they would point to the center of our flat disk. My question is, does a compass ever point to the south once you get a certain distance away from the center of the disk, or when you transition below the equator? And actually, it wasn't from Angela. It was from Bob. Bob using Angela's email address. What's the matter, Bob? Afraid to use your own email address? It's okay. I do not know if the needle actually gets to a point where it starts heading south. I'm sure there's some YouTube videos on it. I will do some research when I get a chance. But I know that the north is much stronger from what I understand, and that would make sense in a flat model because it would still work. But yeah, the point is, does it ever get so? Does when you get far enough away, does the strength diminish to where the south takes over, which is the outer edge? That would be an interesting trick. So, what'd you think of that article, by the way? I just sent you.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're basically, and then there's globe reinforcement right there. Climate change. Let's do a globe reinforcement thing right now while we're talking about climate change. It's ridiculous, absolutely, utterly ridiculous. Let's see who else we got here. I got emails all over the place. Okay, here's one from Pete. Pete says, No Agenda covered Flat Earth again on their latest show covering a video. Oh, yeah, No Agenda with Adam Curry. Remember who Adam Curry is?
Mm-hmm, of course.
The MTV VJ.
One of the originals.
Yeah, one of the originals, along with Martha Quinn and JJ and the guy that looked like Billy Squire and a couple other guys. Anyway, but he's doing, he does a conspiracy thing called No Agenda. And got like 50,000 subscribers and stuff like that. And he keeps mentioning flat Earth. You can tell he keeps dipping his toes in, and his cohort, the version of you, keeps trying to slam it, saying it's a bunch of crap. Now I don't know if they're playing good cop, bad cop on purpose, but it's interesting. So anyway, he says No Agenda covered Flat Earth again on their latest show, covering a video I sent them of Neil deGrasse Tyson mentioning flat Earth in disparaging terms. It's in the first part of the show. Don't know the exact time. Heard your most recent show. Tried to get a question in. It kept bumping me back. Very frustrating. This is when I was with Patricia. I went from number 4 to ending with number 16. Questions such as Mark is a hottie got put in front of mine, so you didn't get to mine, which was when in history were we fooled, as you put it. Do you know of contemporaries in Copernicus time or after that wrote against the theory of heliocentrism? If Copernicus was right and his theory became the standard, how did it happen? It would be implausible as flat Earth becoming the norm tomorrow. How did they overpower the standing flat Earth model? I've seen enough evidence to convince me that the Earth is flat, but the cultural aspects trouble me. Also, I have never heard a good argument for the appearance of the regression of the planets. Can you give me some direction in that regard? In the world of the internet, I realize my message getting through to you is 1,000 to 1. Even worse odds that you'll reply based on the amount you receive. Still, I send a message in a bottle, Pete. Well, Pete, you had a lot of questions. I'm not going to answer all of them. How long? But the reason why I answered it was because he said, I'm never going to get through. Well, you did. So how long did it take him to switch over? We don't really know because it was back in the frickin' 1500s. And as you know, things moved pretty slow back then. But it took years and years for this to spread around. But remember, it only takes a generation or two to convince people of anything. If we went to teaching kids right now that the world was flat again, of course they'd believe it, because why would we lie to them? And it would only take a generation for them to have kids and then be raised, and then the round earth would be forgotten, and people would be asking about these dusty old globes they'd find in attics here and there. They'd be saying, "What's this, Grandpa?" It's like, "Oh, that was when the earth was round." So
it's coming to that.
It is coming to that, and we're going back to it, and it will be a great thing. It'll be a new golden age. I swear it. You got to believe me. Charles writes, "Hey, Mark, whenever I see Matt Boylan doing his thing, I cannot help but think of Dr. Gene Scott had a son. His name would have been Matt Boylan. In the unlikely event that you're not familiar with Gene Scott, Google God's Angry Man, and I think you will see what I mean. Sincerely, Charles." Matt does, you've seen some of Matt's stuff, especially lately. He does tend to go off on some rants, no question. But you also got to remember, he... What?
I know who this is. Oh my God, I brought it up. That's funny.
So if Gene Scott had a child, it would be...
That is brilliant. That is spot on.
Great. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, and I've seen this before. Wait till you see it.
Oh, great. You'll have to... Oh, I will watch this as soon as the show ends. So apparently I'm missing this.
The way they...
So if Dr. Gene Scott had an illegitimate child who became Canadian...
I got to mute my mic. I'm losing it.
All right. Would have been Matt Boylan, and that's Jonathan. Nope, he's back on. Thanks, Charles, and I'm sure that Matt will appreciate this if he listens. And someone says, "By the way, are you related to Gene Scott?" That's awesome.
Dude, I gotta send you this picture after the show.
All right,
you're gonna crack. No, not this one. Something else, unrelated.
All right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Bill writes, "Hey, Mark, was listening to the Hot Potatoes show on the way to work this AM and heard about the Art Bell cancellation. What do you think about putting out a video saying the debate is off because of him retiring or whatever he is really up to? It should be a short vid or slideshow with voiceover just saying something like, due to circumstances beyond our control. Just make sure you have Art Bell and a couple other key words that will get people searching for the reason he quit to find you and possibly get exposed to Flat Earth in your channel. I'm sure you already got something like this in the works. Seems like you're always a step or two ahead of me, Bill." Oh no, I'm not a step or two ahead. In this case, no, I'm going to play it cool because one, the debate isn't. It looks like it actually still may happen. So I don't want people thinking that it's canceled entirely and just not looking for it. As far as Art goes, I don't know much about him in this case. It's like I do think it's a little fishy that he would blame canceling a show on terrorism. Some people said, well, it's because of bad ratings and something like that. It's like, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to kick the man necessarily when he's down, unless he actually did pull the show because somebody said, that he shouldn't actually debate this, and he was dumb for actually. Because remember, he got a new producer, and this new producer was the one that booked it. Beforehand, he wasn't going to do it, and he got the Morgile on, and that didn't go as well as he had hoped. I think from a programming standpoint. Anyway, enough of that. Excuse me. Bill and Olga write, "Mind-boggling. I'm a music teacher by trade. I have a feeling that I should be shocked, but I'm not. Instead, the story makes perfect sense. I don't even know what questions to ask. How can I learn more?" Well, Bill and Olga, you can learn more by, they already know this by now because they probably just, really, to learn more, all you have to do is type in Flat Earth into any search engine, anywhere, especially on YouTube, though. If you type it into YouTube, you're just going to get hit with a wall just a wall of content right now. What I tell you today was like up to like 1.8 relevant hits. I'm sorry, 1.8 million relevant hits when you type it in on YouTube, and that number just keeps going up. And you got to remember that wasn't even into 6 digits back in February. It was like less than 50,000, I think, and now it's at 1.8 million. The percentage increase is monstrous. This is why people are doing stuff. So anyway, we have roughly 2 minutes before we got to call this one good and put a bow on it. So anything coming up on your show? You want to plug anything before your thing on Thursday, or we're just kind of winging it?
Thursday. I was doing an interview today with Lisa Wilson from the Raw Food Institute. It was going well, and then her mic killed out. So I'm going to do it tomorrow and hopefully have it up for Thursday.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. I'm going to. I've got another person possibly lined up. We had the corporate travel agent today. I may have a person that works with government flights next week. I don't know if I can get him on air, but at the very least, we'll get a statement from him. So that'll be next week. And I'm also working on the Flat Earth Christmas card. Hopefully you can help me with the music on that.
Oh, right on.
I'm going to be singing. There's going to be other people singing, and we're going to put in some slides. It's going to be quick. It's only going to be like 3 minutes long. It should be kind of fun because next week, so today's the 15th, so next week is the 22nd. And so next week we're not, you and I, we're probably not going to do a special Christmas show, but yeah, we're running out of time, running out of dates for this year, aren't we?
Only 2 more shows after this.
Yeah.
Boom. Huh?
Then we don't know. Then we don't know what's going on.
I've given enough to 2015. I've done enough this year, so I think I've done enough for the Flat Earth movement.
Right on. Nice. And with that,
bah humbug. Here's your Christmas present.
Whatever. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here tonight, and thank everybody for listening and calling in. And I'm stalling because I'm waiting. There it is. I'll see you guys next time.
All right, take it easy.
Welcome again to this neighborhood. I'd like to show you something. You know what this is? Well, maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a little cassette in here, and there's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Do you ever imagine things? Things you'd like to have? Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark and wonder what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Imagine every person that you see is somewhat different from every other person in the world. Some can do some things, some can do others. Did you ever think of the many things you've learned to do? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Did you feel like going like that? Let's give the fish some food. Mr. McFeely, I didn't order any whistles. That's what they call a slide whistle. Did you feel like going like that? There are so many things to learn about in this world, and so many people who can help us learn. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.